Testing sound, 1, 2. Testing sound one more time, 1, 2. All right, we have tested the sound. It looks like everything is good to go here. We got 9 o'clock. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining. Let's see if we can kind of make sure we got everything going really well here. We got 9 o'clock. Okay, sorry about that. We're back on here. Thanks for joining once again. We're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, I appreciate you joining. We got a lot to talk about with the winter weather potential here coming up in the next 24 to 36 hours. A lot of that is going to be in the form of even some winter weather potential and some very cold air potential coming up across the area. So going into this, we're going to kind of take this a step at a time. There's a lot to talk about, and we even have a lot more hazards that are in effect today. We just issued just recently this evening. And we're going to kind of go over everything just a little bit at a time. We're going to talk about the first, probably the most impactful situation is going to be the ice potential for northwest areas of our area. And then we're going to talk about very cold wind chills and cold temperatures. We now have hard freeze warnings in effect, wind chill advisories, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories. There's a lot of things to talk about. We're going to kind of really piece this together one by one at a time so everyone understands exactly what threat is associated with where they are currently located, and what we're going to see also going with travel impacts going in here too as Monday into early Tuesday as well. So we're going to jump right into this here. First, actually, before I do, I want people to kind of be aware of what's going on right now. We know there's a large winter storm. It's pretty much getting impacting a large part of the United States. Let me show you that here actually really quickly to show you the current map. This is basically the watch and warning map across the entire United States, and that's a lot of winter storm warnings. So this is a very significant, impactful winter storm that we're expecting across the area. All of Arkansas, all of Texas, Oklahoma, expanding all the way. So if you have family and friends in Dallas, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, going all the way up to Ohio, Indiana, and even upstate New York, all dealing with a very significant winter storm event. So this is not just impacting us here locally in Louisiana and southern Mississippi, but all across a large part of the United States. So taking a look at radar imagery, this is radar imagery across the entire southeastern United States. You're probably wondering, where is it right now? Well, the storm system is developing to our southwest with ice and sleet impacting a large part of Texas right now. Lots of ice reports coming out of Texas, and we're starting to see the reports pulling into Louisiana already. We're getting reports of sleet pulling in near Lake Charles, going in towards Shreveport, and yes, that's the same system that's on the way towards our area in southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi. So we are going to start to see some of these radar reflectivity values will be increasing through the night, and then we'll start to see maybe even some freezing rain and sleet issues as we go into the rest of the night, and then even some rain for areas further to the south, including maybe near New Orleans and the South Shore and then coastal Mississippi. But we're going to go over every little bit of the detail there here in just one quick second. Let me go ahead and show you what our current hazards are. This is what we got. This is the latest as of 9 o'clock. We still have a winter storm warning in effect. And now if you happen to join us in our Facebook Live we did yesterday, we were talking about the importance of knowing where you are on a map. Know your parish, know your county. And that's because I'm going to show a lot of maps that show parish and counties, and that's why it's extremely important to know where you're located. So if your county or parish is in that pink color, that is a winter storm warning where we're expecting the potential for significant icing and impacts from that. That's going to be total ice accumulations up to a 1/4 inch to even 1/2 inch in the warning area, and that's going to be very significantly impacting a large part of our area. and could be impacting travel as well. Now, what is different from yesterday, that's different from today also, is we were talking about there was the potential that this could be expanded to the east, and it has been. But we also have a winter weather advisory now for the kind of the fringe of that, going for Houma, not including New Orleans, but just near it, going up to St. Tammany Parish, and then getting up to Pearl River County, Mississippi. So the kind of the furthest eastern fringe of this is a winter weather advisory. For a little bit less in the way of impacts expected in this region, really what we're going to see for Houma up to Covington and Poplarville is going to be maybe some minor ice impacts for that area, and maybe even some sleet as well. But if your county or parish is in that pink color there, and I know we're going to have a lot of people asking about, what about my region, what about my area, pick your county and parish out from this map that you can see here. If you're under that winter storm warning, that's where we're expecting the potential for significant impacts. And those impacts include power outages. Just remember that even a glaze or a trace of ice can cause issues, and we're expecting the potential for a lot more than that in the winter storm warning area. That could lead to also the tree damage. We can sometimes ice can accumulate on trees and bring them down, and then even that can cause widespread power outages. And then dangerous travel, specifically Monday, going in towards late Monday into early Tuesday, where we're going to be expecting a lot of this. Pretty much anywhere from tonight through Monday afternoon is going to be the biggest time frame where we're going to be talking about. We'll talk about the time frame graphic here in just one quick second, because I know a lot of people are wondering when this is going to happen. We'll talk about that here in just a quick moment. But again, these are the areas that we're mostly focused on, and it expands beyond our area into Lafayette, going all the way towards Lake Charles and up to Shreveport, up to Jackson, Mississippi, Macomb, Hattiesburg. This is a widespread event. And again, just the eastern fringe of this is trying to get close to the Lake Pontchartrain area or the I-59 corridor. Confidence is a little bit lower for that area. So if your county or parish is in that kind of that purple color, that's a winter weather advisory. That's due to limited impacts with low confidence forecast at this time. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about accumulations and where it kind of matches with the warning and advisories that are currently in effect. What we're really concerned about is Baton Rouge up to Macomb and to areas to the northwest, which has pretty much been the area we've been mostly focused on this entire event. We're really concerned about this area where we could see around 1/10 to 1/4 inch, and yes, even likely higher amounts in some areas is going to be possible. So anywhere in that red area is where we're really focusing on the potential for very significant impacts that could include power outages and near impossible travel due to icy roads in those areas. Now, as you get further to the south and to the east, the impacts are a little bit more limited but still significant, and that does include the greater Baton Rouge area, getting down to Ascension and Assumption Parish, then going up Tangipahoa and then up to Washington Parish. We're still expecting the potential for dangerous travel. This is going to be mostly ice on bridges and overpasses with isolated power outages. And then, as we talked about earlier about the winter weather advisory, that's where we're seeing a little bit more of the limited impacts. That's patchy ice, but that could still lead to dangerous travel conditions, and especially on bridges and overpasses. That includes like where we talked about before, Houma, up to Covington, and into Pearl River County, Mississippi. Now, how much this line may wobble a little bit to the east or a little bit to the west, it's still possible that could happen, and which means we may have to expand the winter storm warning or trim it a little bit. It just depends. It's really hard to catch that exact cutoff area where we're going to see freezing rain. So again, if you're anywhere in the northwest areas, anywhere in those yellow, orange, or red colors, there is the potential for you to see impacts as we go through Monday. So this is the possibility of seeing 1/10 of inch ice accumulation. Just 1/10 of an inch of ice is a very significant impact. Again, like I just said before, a glaze is all that all you can get is just a glaze of ice. You're going to see very significant impacts, and this is 1/10 of ice, which is very impactful. And we're seeing that numbers here in the 90% range for Baton Rouge, 30% for 37% for Hammond, 93% for Macomb, and you're really hitting hard on that corridor that we just showed you early before, where those red colors were. Very impactful conditions are expected there, but you see that the contour really cuts off. It gets really sharp as you get towards Tangipahoa and down to Houma, and really cuts off fast. And you see if we get into New Orleans, it's pretty much around 0%. So that's good news for the city, as we do not expect there to be widespread significant icing issues for New Orleans or Slidell, including the Mississippi coastline and even further south into southeast Louisiana. Still, only a little bit of a change is going to be, we will have to really closely monitor that, and that's why it's very important for you to monitor the weather as well. this is the possibility of seeing a 1/4 inch of ice. So this is this is what we would call very significant icing. 40% for Baton Rouge, up to 55% for Macomb. Still, that's a red flag for us. That is the potential for some significant icing in that region. Again, that's why that region is more kind of the bullseye for the icing potential. Now we're going to talk about timing. Now, as I showed you earlier before with radar, we're already seeing radar echoes coming up from the southwest, and that's why we have areas as numbered 1, that's the far northwestern areas, northwest of Baton Rouge, is going to be beginning tonight with accumulation starting around daybreak Monday and then lasting through the day. It's cold there, and it's cold there already right now, and as any precipitation falls there, it's going to be in the form of freezing rain and or sleet, which may cause some significant accumulation issues. So, just want to make sure. Okay, sorry there. We were just checking the mic there. I think I kind of cut off there just for a quick second. But like I was just saying before, where I was just saying earlier that there's with the precipitation coming from the southwest, that'll be impacting areas northwest of Baton Rouge earlier. Baton Rouge itself is going to be more after midnight tonight, with accumulation starting around daybreak on Monday, and that'll be lasting through the day. You're going to be very cold during the day on Monday. And then for areas you see 3 and 4, which includes Covington, Houma, and Poplarville, and then Hammond, areas around that area, Gonzales, we're talking about, that's going to be more 3 a.m. Monday, with accumulation beginning around mid-morning and lasting through the day. So again, this will be kind of pulling more to the south and east with time as the colder air continues to filter in, and then the precipitation is going to be overrunning this cold air, is where we're going to be having some ice issues. So Monday is going to be the day, that's tomorrow, where we could be starting to see some very significant impacts across the areas that you see highlighted right there. And as we always say, freezing rain is the worst. As I was saying before, it only takes a trace to cause issues. You have to watch out for falling branches and power lines. It's going to be a slow thing. It's not going to be like snow. You're not going to see this really like getting white on surfaces or accumulating. It's going to be mostly just causing a glaze on trees. And when it does, you'll start to notice the trees and tree branches weighing down with time. And when it does, that's where it could actually hit power lines and you can lose power. So we're urging people that we can't tell you not to drive, but we're telling you that it would probably be the best idea not to, especially in the areas that are highlighted that I showed you before. Traveling is just not a good idea in this type of situation. Driving through snow, if there's anyone who's from colder areas who are living here now or visiting, and if you've driven through snow and driven through ice, you got to know there is a huge difference between driving through snow and ice. Ice can really be very, very dangerous. Sometimes you can't even see it on the road, and that's what we call black ice. So again, traveling is pretty much not encouraged during this event. So I wanted to actually touch this real quick. We're talking about freezing rain, there's snow, there's sleet. Well, what is that? What is the difference of all of that? Well, freezing rain is pretty much easily said. It's just liquid precipitation that freezes on contact with cold surfaces as it enters a shallow layer of temperatures that's roughly at or below 32 at the surface. So think of this as you see this graph here, you got the houses and you're going further up aloft, and then you got where the snow is being generated, the cold air aloft. We got what we call a warm nose, or a warmer layer of the atmosphere between where the snow is being generated and the surface. And what that does is it actually melts the snowflakes into rain. But with the surface, with there being an inversion of colder air at the surface, or a layer of colder air at the surface that's below freezing, that rain actually gets in contact with the surface and then freezes because it's below freezing. So that's why with this event, it's not going to be a winter wonderland of snow or anything like that. This is actually going to just be a rainy event. And with time, we're going to start to see that glaze and that ice start to accumulate on trees and power lines. So that's why this is a little bit of a different situation. This is we're not expecting snow in this case. This is mostly going to be sleet or freezing rain due to the fact that we're going to be having that warm layer in the atmosphere. Now we want to show you this too. This is what we showed earlier on social media about how to measure ice. And we would like to have your reports too. Your reports are going to be extremely important to us. But if you happen to be in the area and you do get ice, once it's safe enough, we don't want you going outside or getting underneath any trees that would have the weight of the ice on them. If you break off a small branch or twig, you can use a ruler to measure basically an average of the thickness of the twig to the top part of the ice to the twig itself, and then average around to the nearest tenth. And then give us a call or tweet us on Twitter or shoot us a message on Facebook. Let us know. Send us a report, and even a picture really helps us know what is actually happening. That gives us a ground truth idea of what exactly is happening, and then that can kind of lead to either changing any warnings or doing anything like that if need be. So even if you're not going to be experiencing ice, now we're going to be talking about all areas. I know we've been really hitting hard on areas generally west of I-59. Now we're going to talk about everywhere. No matter where you are, we are about to experience very, very cold temperatures. These are the morning lows expected Tuesday morning. So we got the winter weather on Monday. It's going to pull out of here late Monday afternoon and evening, and there will be a period where we'll get the precipitation out of here, but temperatures will be plummeting very fast Monday evening all the way through Tuesday morning. So we are expecting a widespread hard freeze Monday night into Tuesday morning, with most of the area being below freezing for well more than 12 hours for a large part of the area. So we're talking about teens for Baton Rouge, lower teens for Macomb, and even, yes, for New Orleans, the mid-teens, mid-20s. That's very impactful for the city, and even all the way across coastal Mississippi too. So pretty much below freezing for the entire area early Tuesday is going to be very likely. And that's where we always talk about safety information to protect the 4 Ps, but we'll talk about that here in just a quick moment. So because of this, this is what has changed as of tonight, and I want to hit the messaging on this as hard as I can. A hard freeze warning is now in effect for the entire area. But there are kind of 2 different tiered areas that we have outlooked. Right now, there is a hard freeze warning in effect north of Baton Rouge that includes Macomb. And that is in effect right now through noon Tuesday because you're already experiencing a hard freeze. Elsewhere, you're going to be in a hard freeze warning starting Monday at 6 p.m. all the way through noon Tuesday. So both areas are all the way through noon Tuesday. It's just that the furthest northwest areas have already hit that hard freeze warning criteria. And then the rest of the area, as the cold air filters in, we're talking more about Monday at 6 o'clock through noon Tuesday. And this is pretty much going to be an extended duration of sub-freezing temperatures that are going to be very likely across the area. And we were talking about impacts and safety. We'll talk about that here coming up here, right here. And that's what we're talking about. Don't forget the 4 Ps. People, pets, plants, and pipes. Please check on the elderly. Make sure if there's anyone who's just may not have adequate warmth during this type of situation, anyone who has no adequate warmth, make sure that they have maybe extra blankets. Check in on them. Give them a quick call. Make sure they're safe and understand the weather that's coming ahead. Pets, please do not let your pets be outside during this type of cold air. If you have to leave them out, make sure that they have adequate shelter and water that's not frozen. So fresh water that's not frozen, and then make sure they have some type of a shelter. But if at possible, please bring them in during this type of extreme cold. Plants, yes, this is going to be very damaging to plants. So if you have the ability to bring them in, any types of potted plants to bring them in, please do so. Or if you can't, maybe just cover them up with a pillowcase or a sheet of some sort. But this is a reminder, this is going to be a damaging freeze for a lot of locations that haven't even experienced hard freezes yet, like I was talking about for the South Shore. And then wrap your pipes too. Any type of housing foundations that are elevated are especially vulnerable to frozen pipes. You just kind of leave a drip on your faucet overnight, Monday night into Tuesday morning, or wrap pipes that are exposed outdoors. That would be a very good idea as well. Now, aside from just the temperatures, I know this is even more cold temperatures you're seeing here, but these are dangerous wind chills that we're expecting. As the cold air filters in, so will actually the strong northwesterly winds. And we're talking about very dangerous wind chills that are going to be expected. These are the minimum wind chills expected from 6 p.m. Monday evening through 6 p.m. Tuesday evening. So this is not going to be consistent temperature that you're seeing here. It's not going to be consistently in the single digits to the teens, but this is the coldest wind chill that's expected. Overall, we're going to be seeing wind chills in the teens to single digits at times, but it will never be this cold the entire time. But this is why it's going to be very, very, very dangerous to be outside or exposed to this type of cold air early Tuesday. And yes, it even gets as cold as the mid-teens for New Orleans as far as a wind chill. So that's going to be the feel-like temperature, or the temperature on your skin is going to be very cold with that strong wind from the northwest. And be aware that this is strong cold wind chills go all the way down to Boothville, down to 20 degrees from wind chill. So again, 6 p.m. Monday through 6 p.m. Tuesday, going to be a very cold period across the area. And that is why we have wind chill advisories in effect for the entire area for the reasons that I just showed you there before. If you happen to have to be out early Tuesday morning, wear warm layers, cover exposed skin. It's just going to be very cold as we go through the early morning hours. Now, something else, another threat we want to talk about too, is even as the rain pulls out of here Monday afternoon and Monday evening and the cold air filters in, we may not have that much time to let this rain that we're getting, the rain that we're forecast to get on Monday, to dry up. So there may be some lingering wet surfaces or puddles that could freeze with such a cold air being funneled in. So yes, there could be the potential for black ice early Tuesday morning, and that could be for a little bit of a larger area than what we're seeing with the potential for ice tomorrow. So that could possibly get across near New Orleans, that could get into the North Shore and maybe even coastal Mississippi. Anywhere that hits well below freezing, we may have a little bit of a black ice issue. So keep that in mind if you happen to be traveling early Tuesday. And then even Tuesday afternoon, we're really not going to be seeing much of a warm-up. We're only talking about the upper 30s to the lower 40s for highs. Some areas may be even colder than that. We may be stuck into the mid-30s for areas around Baton Rouge going up to northwest areas. So as we're saying, stay home and off the roads if possible, where ice remains through during the day on Tuesday. Hopefully with the sun coming out and the temperatures warming above freezing, we'll get rid of these issues come midday Tuesday and the Tuesday evening. But again, this may be more of a long-lasting issue that we're anticipated, especially as we go through Tuesday morning through at least mid to late morning, as we may have some lingering patchy ice. So record temperatures are still possible. You see in that pink square there, that's actually official high that we hit today in Baton Rouge. We had official high of 35, and we came in 11 degrees below our record coldest high temperature for today. Tomorrow we're still expecting a low of 28, and we're going to be breaking a lot of record lows, especially come Tuesday morning with the forecast low currently of 16. That's going to be likely breaking the record low set at 27 in 1943 for Baton Rouge. And a lot of record cold temperatures are going to be expected. Same for New Orleans. We had a high in New Orleans today of 45, which was 4 degrees below the record coldest high temperature. And we're expecting to break a record low early Tuesday morning of 24, 5 degrees below the coldest temperature felt on that day of 29 in 1963. And you can see that a lot of these dates are from the early 60s. So for those who have been around a while, back to the early 60s, may remember some very strong, very cold, significant cold snaps back in the early 60s. It's going to be very reminiscent of that, if not possibly even colder than that. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind, just how significant that this winter weather and cold air is going to be. So just a kind of a quick sum up here. Again, we got winter weather that's going to be increasing tonight. It's going to be going across the northwestern areas tomorrow, early tomorrow. Then spreading a little bit more towards the east during the day as the colder air filters in. Significant ice accumulations looks very possible from Baton Rouge to Macomb. Confidence lowers as you get more towards the east. And then we're going to get this rain and freezing rain out of here towards late Monday afternoon and Monday evening, and then that's when the really cold air really filters in, where we're expecting a hard freeze Monday night into Tuesday morning, dangerous wind chills Monday night into Tuesday morning, lingering black ice issues through Tuesday morning, and we're not going to be warming up much on Tuesday. Beyond here, though, as we get towards Wednesday, we are seeing a little bit more of a warming trend. So the good news is this is not going to be a long duration event. This will be just very cold for about a day or two, and then it'll get out of here. We do have another chance of rain coming up late Wednesday into Thursday as well. Not much details there yet. We want to kind of get this system, we were kind of focusing more on this system right now. But again, just a few days of very cold temperatures ahead, and we'll be updating you with the latest with social media posts and latest updates to our forecast. If we issue any new hazards, you'll be the first to know from us. And of course from our broadcast meteorologists too, that are doing a great job with messaging this event as well. So that's all we got here. We will likely do another one, maybe one or two tomorrow during the event, to kind of see where we're at, what kind of reports we're getting, if the conditions are changing or whatnot. So we'll plan to meet you back at some point tomorrow. So other than that, I really appreciate you joining, and thank you, and have a great night.